Yo, what is good, guys? It's CALZOR here. So today what I want to talk to you about is fundamentals and what you should be doing in Valorant with regards to your decision making, how you should react to teammates, and various other topics. Now, I can understand that a lot of this can be basic and simple for a lot of you, but we need to be sympathetic to the people that don't come from an FPS background and don't quite understand what we're talking about when we say different phrases and so on and so on. I'm going to try and use examples of me playing with my teammates and what I've done right, and you can see that what I'm saying is an absolute dog eggs pretty much. So without further ado, let's get ourselves into the video. Okay, so my number one thing what I want to talk about, starting right at the top, is what I always talk to people about even when they're in Diamond and so on, and that is crosshair placement. So crosshair placement is probably fundamentally one of the biggest assets that you're going to have within this game, and the same applies for games that require a lot of aim like Counter-Strike and various other titles. So you want what crosshair placement means. It means what the title implies: having your crosshair placed at the most optimal angle. So the head it's going to do most damage. So for instance, with a Phantom, if they've got armor, you're going to do 140 if you headshot them. The fall off is a bit different. I think it does 125 at the next range, and so forth. The Vandal is a one-shot headshot weapon, so you got to take that into account. If somebody has superior crosshair placement to you, they're probably going to win the fight like 90% of the time. So you always want to be aiming for the head. What? If I'm walking around a corner and my crosshair is placed like at the body, it takes significantly longer than me having my crosshair placed at the head. Look how fast that is. Like, these are the inches and miles that kind of separate the higher tier rank players to the lower tier rank players. Whenever I go into a lower rank game, I see people running around with a crosshair like this. Like, this can't be done, because once you come round, you're gonna have to flick to the head, you know, instead of me just coming around the corner and just being like, oh, okay, I'm getting free headshots, you know. This is actually one of the most fundamentally stressful things I see that people who I tend to try and help have wrong with their game. They've constantly got their crosshairs like around about like the hip region, where they're pre-firing at the hip. That's great if somebody's going to come crab walking around the corner, but in realistic circumstances, that's probably not going to happen, I'll be honest. So the first thing you need to work on is your crosshair placement, and you can do this through various different exercises, such as doing like a Kovac, your aim labs, or even just coming into the bot, the shooting range. Look, if you can just keep your crosshair placed at the head and just flick round, you can even do like little exercises of coming around the corner, having your crosshair placed at the head. See what I mean? And just literally just keeping it placed at the head at all times. If you do this day in, day out for, I don't know, maybe 15 to 30 minutes a day, like, you'll see a significant improvement in your crosshair placement. You'll be doing it out of muscle memory. But what I'll say is, when you're in game, always try and round after a round finishes, just keep in your mind, is my crosshair at the right place? That is going to improve your game so damn much, guys. So the first thing is crosshair placement. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is trades. And what do I mean about trades? So when I talk about saying, yo, let's just trade, it means that we're going to trade kills. You and the enemy team are going to trade kills. So say that I kill this guy here and he kills me. That's a trade. Say I kill two guys and I get killed. That's a trade. Me getting two kills to one. That's a really good trade. 1 for 1. If you're a defender, it's not so good, because you're now kind of like in a scenario where you're on the back foot and you've got less heads to cover. To cover the map. For instance, on Haven, a free map bomb site, you're going to be stretched a lot more thin if you're trading out as a defender. So it's always best to kind of be trading out when you have the significant man advantage, say you're in a 5v3 or something like that. But let's take a look at an example of this. Okay, this clip on Haven right here is a perfect example of trades right now. So if you keep your eye on the top right hand of the screen, Mage gets the first kill. He then gets traded out by their Sage, to which our Cypher trades their Omen. The Sage then kills our Cypher. That's a 2-for-2 trade right there. That is perfect. So right in that scenario, our team did really good trades and helped enable us to get a retake. Now right here is a bad example of trading. The Reyna's got the first kill and Flowerman trades it out on the Reyna. Now they think they can just shove the site. It's not good. They're not going to trade out here. I have the operator in spawn. I get 2 of the kills. Then I seen the guy run flower pot, so he's already give his position away. We get that kill, and I haven't been traded out once yet. That guy was hiding away. He wasn't helping his team. And there you go. The last guy peeks out, and he gets traded too. It's just, that's a terrible example of trading. So when's the perfect time to trade? Perfect time to trade is when you're in a situation where they're rushing your bomb site. You and your teammate work together. Who's going to be the first contact? You take you take equal amount of trades, or you take more from them than they take from you. So you get a 3-for-2 trade, a 4-for-2 trade. You know, on a bomb site, there's 2 of you, you kill 4 of them. There's 2 of you, you kill 3 of them. Whichever. Even an equal trade's really good when they're executing your bomb site. So a 2-for-2 trade is a perfect example there. Another good example of trading is if you're a man advantage up, and there's say 3 of you alive and 2 of them. That's a perfect time to trade each other, because you're gonna have like the one guy standing at the end if you just go toe to toe in the trade battle. The worst time to start trading is when you're man advantage down, because you're already at a disadvantage there, and there's more pressure on certain teammates that you have in your team to make more than one trade. So never try to trade when you're in a disadvantage when it comes to like a man advantage or anything like that. Now the next thing I want to talk about is never ever once you've got the man advantage, say you're in a 5v2 or 5v3, is giving yourself up to a 1v1 fight. Nobody in your team should be doing this. When I talk about giving yourself up to a 1v1 fight, say I'm playing here, in my situation, I'm going to be isolating angles off. I've isolated this corner. I've isolated this. I'm isolating this guy here. It's giving me a 1v1 because there's only him there. We go here, that's another 1v1. The third 1v1, you know. The bots essentially there just give me 3 1v1 angles instead of facing together and getting a kill. Now, I'm going to show you a good example of this. Okay, so the purpose of this isn't to flex, but right now, watch how they give me 1v1 situations. This Omen got himself into a 1v1 situation right there. This guy now faces me, the Solver, and gives me another 1v1. There's a guy facing in CT. He unfortunately feels the wrath of my ult. Now there's 2 guys left in a 2v1. Look at the top. A 2v1 right now. Let's see how it plays out. The Raze pushes me on her own. She suffers a 1v1 battle. I win the fight. The Sage at the end, she suffers to me too. Now, if they face me together at the end, they probably win that fight. But unfortunately, they give me a 1v1 battle. So now, I can't stress this enough, that you cannot give people a 1v1 battle, especially when they're in a clutch situation. If there's 3 of you alive and 1 of them, never ever think that it's good to just ego child that fight, because what's going to happen is somebody's just going to come in, take the 1v1s that you've given them like this, and you're going to lose the fight. That's essentially what it's going to be. So never ever ever give anybody a 1v1, especially when you've got man advantage, because all you're doing is giving them an advantage to find inches back into the round and eventually winning the round, because you've given them enough momentum to finish the round off. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is contacts and rushes. So what does a rush mean? So it means literally, say this is a bomb site right here, and this is the choke we're going to be running through. We're just going to run in and rush straight into the bomb site. But necessarily rushes work differently to Counter-Strike. I'd say anyway. In this, like, agents have abilities, like a Sage to slow you down. She has a wall. She has various other things. Like, other characters have various other things, like Molotovs and so on and so forth. If you run through them Molotovs, it's guaranteed death, etc., etc. So, what you need to do, kind of, in order to be able to rush a bomb site on this, you have to be sure that they haven't got an agent that can essentially stump your rush straight up. So say we have a Cypher on a site, yeah, he's got tripwires and he's got his cages, but you can literally rush through those. You can have your teammates shoot the trap, a Jet dash straight through it to break the trap, and many other things. But if they've got a Sage in the bomb site, if they have a Brimstone with a Molly and such, what you got to do is you got to bait out some of the utility, then rush the bomb site, you know. So it can't necessarily always just be a straight out rush into a bomb site and execute. You got to bait some of the utility out off the characters and so on and so on. Now a contact is the opposite. What we're going to do is we're going to walk up and say this is a bomb site here. We're going to get to the bomb site until an enemy spots us. That's when we engage and we start fighting. That's a contact. We don't execute onto the bomb site until we have been seen, in sense we have made contact with the enemy, and then we can execute on the bomb site and plant a bomb and such. This works good for, say, when you're playing a map like Haven. Again, we bring it back to Haven, and you execute long and short. If you walk up to that, the guys on B aren't going to be rotating until they hear your footsteps or they've got the call off their teammate that you're there. He has to contact you in order for them to rotate on top of you and such. So essentially what you want to be doing in this is having your teammates making no noise at all until you've been seen. And that's what a contact means. So you can easily win rounds by mixing up your team's strats, I guess, by calling contacts and calling rushes. So that's another bit of terminology that I'm guessing the people who are basic to FPS games don't quite understand. So hopefully that's giving you a bit of a deeper understanding of what I mean. Now, I know today's video has been short, guys, and I understand that I haven't been able to upload over the past few days. It's because a lot's been going on in my life at the minute, so I've had to prioritise that. I wanted to do this video, just a basic one, just so we've got a little bit of content out, and over the next few days I should be making more map guides and which cater better to, I guess, Cypher cams, Sage walls, silver darts, using Breach Aftershocks, because Breach's Aftershock is getting a buff with the next patch. So just keep that in mind. Sorry about the helicopter going over the house, but you have a safe day, stay blessed, and I'll catch you in the next video.